Alright, so I just finished up with that turbo compressor map video that you guys might have seen. It is trying to get you an idea of visualization of how to understand and properly process a turbo and its compressor map. So it comes down to being a topographic map. It's very simple when you visualize it in 3 dimensions or even 2 dimensions from a top-down or side view. The compressor maps are shown in a top-down view, and then moving into the side view gets you an idea of the shaping and the curvature, stuff like that. So I have a map here, I'll show you guys real quick. This is my G42 1200 compact, and I believe if I look back over my calculations, this is likely maybe 15 to 20% overshooting. You can see RPMs up here, overshooting the real world. So I believe I overscaled this before I had better hands-on experience. What this would be telling me is the G42 is far too undersized to maintain 30 psi and beyond. Now, I'm pretty sure that's not the issue, and the basis of today's video is actually going to be compressor ratios and the way that they're affected with elevation. So a lot of people who are in motorsport will have a different way of approaching this, right? But if you're going to an elevation, you can either try to maintain the power output of the engine by increasing boost, or you can try to maintain turbo speed, or you can try to maintain, or in other words, you're decreasing power and allowing to maintain boost pressure. So if you say, I want 30 psi regardless, here's what the turbo sees on the turbo side. So I've got a little calculation here for you guys. Very simple, very easy to go with. So here we are. Sea level would be at 0 feet. Our atmospheric pressure, because we are always under pressure, is 14.7 psi absolute. Now, you can see even at only 1,000 feet, which all the mountains around me about 4,000, 3,000, 4,000 for the roads themselves. So at 1,000 feet, we're already down to 14.17, 2,000, 13.66, and so on. Okay, 10,000 feet. So Pikes Peak, we're talking, I think it's like 13, 14,000 feet for the parts of the road that still go up there. And that's going to go below 10. So here's how this calculation works in regards to your pressure ratio. Again, a pressure ratio is our y-axis right here. Okay, here's a few quick rundowns of 2 is going to be close to atmospheric, 2.5 is 21.7, 29, so on and so forth. So at 0 feet, we're taking our 14.7, which is over here, plus 30 psi of a target boost pressure. We're talking for my car, for instance, dividing it by 14.7, and that creates a 3.04 pressure ratio. Go here, you plot out that purple looking line. Our surge line is at, so if we follow the surge line down, we're somewhere about 32, 33. If we want to maintain a non-surge at 29 psi, so that turbo should light off very quickly. 30 pounds a minute of airflow is relatively small for a ported rotary engine. So that would be the surge line there, which would be at 60% efficiency. And you can see a very, very large step where 65% is very close. We're talking another 5 pounds a minute of airflow. And that would, if I maintained 30 pounds, it's pretty much this line going across, right? So then I'd overspin the turbo a little bit after 8,500 RPM, which is interesting because my red line is 8,800. So, that might end up being where we land. So we would come in boost, hold boost, all the way across. And you can see that is not the most efficient way to make efficiency on this turbo, but it is one way. Just want to put that out there. Back to our topic. At 2,000 feet, our pressure ratio is now 13.66. And so 13.66 plus 30 psi, 13.66 is our divider. And now we're at 3.2 pressure ratio. So now we're right in between these two at elevation. So if we're maintaining that same 8,000 RPM, we plot that line, we've overspun that turbo by probably, let's see, we got 10,000 for that region there. We're probably overspinning this turbo by almost 10,000 RPM at 2,000 feet to maintain that 8,000 RPM, 9,000 RPM red line. So we do it again. Let's say we go to 4,000 feet, 12.69 plus 30 divided by 12.69, 3.36 pressure ratio. Holy shit, we're getting closer. So now we're way up here, and we're going across here. And now we've overspun the turbo by 7,500 RPM, or we're at the red line by 7,500 RPM. We do it again. Let's say we were at 8,000 feet, and now we're at 3.75 pressure ratio. Again, we're still targeting 30 psi for boost pressure. This is what the turbo is seeing. Okay, this is what the turbo sees to maintain 30 psi. And now, 3.75, we would be up here, surging. We come into it really hard at 4,500. Or actually, we'd kick it right at, let's see, if we draw that line up, we're still coming in before 3,800 RPM, which is fantastic. And then it immediately overspins by 6,500 RPM. So our turbo speed, when we're calculating this stuff out, is a big factor, okay? If you are setting boost pressure by turbo speed, that needs to be thought about. It needs to be something to where you're going to lose your power. Rather, you're going to optimize it at sea level and then not have as much snuff up top. By contrast, you can try to maintain power by doing this style. This will maintain power. The problem is that now you're falling out of your efficiency plateaus. And the method that I actually choose to do for most people's setups is I will go through and optimize every landing. So I'll say we should run this pressure here, this pressure here, this pressure here, this pressure here, and then we run as much through our highest plateaus for the topographic map, remember, the highest plateaus as possible. So if I could go here, let's say we're starting here, and I creep this line up and I keep creeping all the way up here, and my red line somehow manages right here, then I've managed to get as much of the turbo's energy out efficiently as possible by ramping turbo boost up instead of having a flat boost curve. It does make the car less linear. It does make the car a little bit less manageable, but it will produce the most efficient power, which means that heat from this compressor wheel is not going to be dumped into the system. So that's the other thing. If we were to look at this, this is at a normalized atmospheric pressure where they're starting this, and it's at a normalized STP, standard temperature pressure, okay? When the temperature goes up, these efficiencies fall away. This could go to 70, this could go to 65, because if the temperature this thing is being fed is trash, if your outside temperature is trash and your air density is trash, all these numbers are irrelevant. Imagine you're just flattening that mountain range. So, and here's the other thing is, as you're falling away here, so see how closely these lines are together compared to these. Very big gap, medium-sized gap, tiny gap. When you start to overspeed this turbo, you're dropping heat or dropping efficiency very quickly off of the edge of a mountain like this. Okay. And as you go here, it's still going to be able to produce this boost, but you're going to be pouring heat and heat and heat into the system. So if your intercooler is undersized, this is where you're going to see your problems on this side of your turbo compressors map. So I think that covers a good part of number 2, which is the pressure ratio versus elevation. And I can continue going over these if people like these videos. I figured, why not? Take the time, do this right, and explain to people, because this is information that's hard to come by, and it's far and above over pretty much any EFI class you're going to find online. So here you go. That's it for me. So cheers. See you guys in the next one.